Now it's time for Perspective on the programme, and my guest today is a highly renowned filmmaker who, she says, considers cinema as a weapon and a responsibility. I'll ask her why in just a moment. But I imagine her passion for her films and her drive for making them comes very much from her past. Sepideh Farsi was born in Iran in 1965. She was imprisoned there for 16 years for concealing a dissident from the regime in a prison where many others were executed. Now, when she left, she was denied access to university, so she came here to France, her studies turning towards the arts. Now she expresses, as she puts it, her relationship to Iran in her filmmaking, not least in her new film, La Sirène, or The Siren, certainly does just that. She joins me now. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us today. First of all, tell us about the latest film then, La Sirène. It's a very beautiful, very moving film. I watched it yesterday afternoon, and it tells the story, doesn't it, of the siege of Abadan, a key event right at the start of the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s, and it tells it through the eyes of a boy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I was the age of Omid when the war started, and I was not in jail for 16 years. I was 16 when I was arrested. I just say that for the sake of accuracy. And it was very important for me to talk about this episode, this particular episode of my history and Iran's history, because it really toppled everything. All of a sudden, nothing was the same anymore, and young boys and all of us were involved in a war that we had not foreseen, that we didn't want to, after a year and a half after the revolution. And it really gave the regime the opportunity to kind of unify, wash, all dissidents, to suppress the resistance against the regime, and to kind of mold the society. So it was an important thing for me to give an independent version of the facts, because all we have till now is the official narrative of the regime of the war.
And why did you choose this particular story? Because in it, the boy, Omid, he goes after his brother, doesn't he, who's gone to the front line? Yes.
At the beginning, he wants to do as the others, as the older people, as his elder brother. And then he realizes that that's not his way of being, and it doesn't correspond to him, and he seeks his own way of resisting. So it is really not a war. It is about the war, but it's not a war film in the sense that we have many other aspects and sublime things of life that are shown there, and his way of saving all those he loves.
And why have you decided, if you like, in making this film and other films that you've made, to base them on events that you've experienced?
I think all of us, as filmmakers or artists, are primarily inspired by our own lives and events that we've lived through. For me, it's still very important. I've been living outside Iran for almost 4 decades, but things that resonate in me very strongly. Sometimes I also make films about migrants in Greece crisis, different parts of the world. But still, what touches me really deeply is still what comes from my own, youth in Iran. And so it's important for me also to, as I said before, to give this independent version, because my colleagues who work in Iran do not have the same liberty or to address things the same way as I could do from here, outside here. So it's very important for me to...
Yeah. I mean, it's a very sort of emotional, very touching film, isn't it? I mean, is that something that you wanted to bring across, the emotion of it for this book?
Yes, it was very important to mix emotions, humor, and drama, the way things are for a teenager, because that's how you are. It's all you're intensely in all of the things of your facts of your life and all aspects. So it could be while dancing and singing and making music, as well as being in love or fighting a war. It's all has the same intensity when you're at that age, and that was very important for me to really show that mixture.
And why did you decide to do it in this way? Because you've made all sorts of other types of films, isn't it? You've made documentaries, you've made ordinary dramas, this time an animated film.
It gives you the accurate, the right distance to the things, because some of the things that are seen in the film are quite dramatic, and it also opens, so it gives you the right distance to show those things without, because in a live action movie, they could not be shown in the same way, and yet it also allows you to address it with more poetry and a magical sense of magic. That
the music's lovely.
Yes, that helps also. It really is a red line through the film, and we have different kinds of music. We have the jazz by Eric Truffaz, the ethnic or the southern music of southern Iran by Saeed Chambezadeh, other very important songs, and it was very important. It's like a patchwork that really carries us through the film.
And what is it like being an Iranian, growing up there, and now being here in France and watching events in Iran from the outside, if you like?
It gives me the liberty of speech and of action, which is the choice I made some years ago at the price of not being able to go back to Iran, but to make films and to stand up for my rights and my people's rights and speak out loud. But it also gives me a rage, of course, and despair sometimes for being far away and not being able to get involved directly there, although I think that from here I probably can do things that are meaningful as much as if I were there, or even more, because I can raise out my voice, but it is an ambivalent feeling to be far.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is, and I really hope that someday soon things will change, and I do believe that we'll come to the end of this regime.
Yeah, you do think that was going to be my next question. Do you have hope? Yeah,
I do. I really do. I know that there are moments of despair that all of us go through, but still the resistance is continuing, and I think the fractures are so deep in the regime and the problems. It's a total mess economically and politically. So I cannot see them being there for a long time. The question is how long they will still be there. But I think the end is close.
Your films are banned in Iran, but do you think people will still find a way of watching this film?
Oh, yes. They always travel around. There's this huge black market in Iran, and almost all of my films have been seen there. Even Red Rose, which was really a big theme, and severely banned, and we were attacked and insulted by the regime. But it found its way to, actually for Red Rose, we did it ourselves. We developed a Google app, and we opened it for Iran and Afghanistan so that people could watch it anonymously. But other of my films always found their way out there. So I think this one will do the same.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So what's next for you then?
Next film is a Western, an Iranian Western, a kind of a funky black and white Western with a lot of music. That's what I'm working on. I'll be shooting it soon. Okay. In a few months.
Not animated this time, a real
Not one, but then the one after will be again an animation.
Oh, you're working on one ahead as well.
Yes. It's that's the way it is in cinema. You always have several projects ahead of time.
I can imagine. Well, I enjoyed watching the film very much. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us about it. La Sirène, the Siren, and in English, Sepideh Farsi. Thanks very much.